And what you need to find as a business owner is, where is your customer? Your customer that is going to possibly even be willing to drive further to come to your brick and mortar, or pay a little bit more because of how they feel connected to your brand specifically.
Yep.
And
Agree.
this is really the launch of his whole book, is start with why.
Yes, because if you align your business practices with your why, the customer will be attracted to you automatically.
customer.
The right customer.
The right customer.
The byproduct of it is you will be attracting the right customer for
yes.
your business.
Yes. Great leaders inspire people to act and give a sense of purpose and belonging.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
It's, and I don't know, I feel like I could just word vomit as we're going through this, but when Simon talks about that, a lot of people actually do not work in their dream job.
Yeah,
and he
I
goes
agree.
through several examples. However, when you can get to the root cause of why you're doing what you're doing, then it really can be the breakthrough of you finding your own personal success, and you finding kind of a happiness and a gratefulness for where you're at.
It's almost like that saying of, if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. Right? So if you are doing what your soul is asking you to do, then there is no work. There is no job. Yeah,
Yes.
You're not actually working. You're just doing what you love.
Well, I can think of times where in working for corporations, you can get kind of discouraged if you don't feel you're moving in the direction you want to move, or you're just hungry for more, but it's not available at the time. But when you take it off of you and come back to really, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's, as I read this book a second time, I have to be really honest, like, your why is your family and
just legacy and impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I admire that so much. But mine so much is really being part of helping others succeed. Like, that's what fuels me. And to me, being a wife and a mother, I was for a while feeling a little guilty that my why wasn't the same as yours. But as I read through this and I look at the influence that Simon has, and his is actually very similar to mine.
Mm-hmm. It very much is.
And his impact and his reach and how he is changing lives of employees, he actually will never, ever be the one who talked to, because he's influencing those leaders or those business owners. So his reach is so incredibly powerful that I was just like, I felt really good with my why again.
So awesome. I feel so good about that, because it's difficult when you start saying, well, this person's is really good. Maybe mine should be like that. Like, I can go in and say, well, I would like mine to be helpful too, but I do it in my own way.
You do.
That still aligns with my core, which is family, legacy, and impact. And impact can be that you're helping people too, but yours is, I love that you nailed it down. I really love that you nailed that down. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yes. You really have to know your why, and your customers have to be able to connect with it, or they're just going to be making assumptions about your business.
Exactly.
So he paints a lot of great pictures, and he's not really a list man. I like to pick on authors who like their lists, but he gives a lot of great journeys and examples.
Yeah, I love how he connects things back to real life occurrences that have happened in our history to kind of back up and prove his point.
His perspective. Yeah, absolutely. So, he talks about a friend of his who loves to take risky business ventures and investments. And when it lands up working out really well, he likes to credit his own self. Like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to be a good one. And when it flops, he blames the market.
It's easy to do that.
Right?
Yeah, just take responsibility.
But it is really all about perspective. And as we get into perspective and perception, this is where he digs into what he calls carrots and sticks.
Yes.
So he's talking about, setting your business up from the start with the correct vision, basically. And he takes us on a journey of an American who is visiting a Japanese car manufacturing plant. And this particular American knows that his plant, they kind of have a person near the end of the production for like the framing and doors, where they actually have a mallet test where they make sure that the door, because they had come across situations where the doors wouldn't fit or close properly. So they had to test each one. Well, when he's visiting the Japanese assembly line, they don't have this individual in place. They're not even testing it. And their philosophy is, well, it's designed from the start to work. So if it's not working, then they have to go back to the original foundation and plan versus putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
And
how many times do we do that in business?
Oh my gosh.
How many times? And I wanted you to bring that up because there's so many times in business when you're not aligned with your why, you are making decisions in your business to fix
a problem,
a Band-Aid.
Band-Aid it.
Yeah, Band-Aid
so
a
true.
problem instead of going back, retracing your steps to the original design and making changes at the root so that that will no longer happen going forward.
Yep.
And so that for me, I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
It is a great one. And I think that is why businesses then need to use the carrot and stick to fix these problems.
Yes.
When they don't start with I see. Good call, my friend. Good call. So carrot and sticks. And this is really all around how businesses go after making their money, right? How they drive their business. Because when they have lost their why and they're just fighting for results, they end up retreating to what Simon's calling carrots and sticks. And so one thing that I love that he calls out, and it's just so true, really no business or product is original anymore.
No, it's not. It's a redone version, re-edited, disassembled of something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if something does come out that is first and new, it will be only a matter of months before something is behind it to be competition for it, right? We have as a human population, we have so much ingenuity and creativity and a lot of time on our hands compared to when we were hunter-gatherers, if you will. So yes, there really is nothing new anymore. So that causes a lot of chaos in the marketplace is what Simon's basically pointing out to us.
This is fear-based.
Yes.
If nothing's new and nothing's original, then you're competing against everyone. And then it creates this fear-based promotion, I guess you can say.
That's exactly what he calls it. He calls it manipulations and inspirations. Yeah. So he lists a lot of these carrots and sticks, which are truly just manipulations, like running ads. Those are very popular. Almost every business does some sort of, promotion and using like fear of missing out or peer pressure.
Or creating a problem, but you have the solution. So gatekeeping. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then they'll run like deep promos to try to get business in quickly.
Yep.
And the challenge is, and I think those of you that are business owners are going to feel this, once you lower your prices on things, it's very hard to sometimes, unless it's a specific end of season sale, I'm getting rid of this inventory.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I ran into that on Be Chic and the jewelry side of stuff because once we went and discounted our prices we couldn't discount it anymore. The only other way to bring the value back up and add value was either to add additional features, right? Substitute things out or add more things as a bundle, right? Mm-hmm. So you just drove up your cost.
Well, we talk about really the 3 ways to improve your business.
Yeah.
And yes, you either need to sell to a lot more customers,
so increase your
or
traffic.
Raise your prices. Yes. Yeah. Or increase what they are spending.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Your cart value.
You could only work within what you had at the time. So you had to get them to buy more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think especially if the economy is in a recession, which is, well, I think it's in a recession, but there are other people who will question that. Anyways, but when the economy is in a recession, it becomes even more fear-mongering and more of this stuff starts happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. And some companies will deliver promotions in a way that kind of make us even forget that we're being manipulated. And a lot of companies actually, and thankfully there's laws to protect against this now, but those mail-in rebate things for a while.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can get $100 back, but there was like 100 different things you had to do in order to get that $100.
And for a while, people who lived in apartment complexes, like that wouldn't work. There was something.
Oh, there was, I don't remember.
Yeah, because you had to have a house number, but not a.
You couldn't have a unit number. It had to be like a house number or something.
It was weird. Yes.
Silly like that.
So businesses a lot of businesses feel like that's the best way to do business is have a promotion, scare people into, hey, if you don't buy now, it's not going to be available to you, or won't be available at this price. All of these are sales approaches that even successful sellers will suggest that. Like, how do you create an urgency to buy now?
Yeah.
And even things that, are considered, innovative, like new phones are coming out almost every month now. What is it?
Yeah,
Your
they
son wants an
are.
Oculus. I don't even know what number we're up to now. 3, maybe?
3, I think it was, but I don't
Okay.
even think it's called an Oculus anymore.
Oh.
I think it's called something else. But
Sorry.
yeah, it's the 3rd version of it.
Like those are really just iterations of
Yeah.
something that's already been out there. So that's what I mean. Like there's nothing really new anymore.
Yeah.
So you have this noisy marketplace of brands that are saying, buy now, best deal ever, newest item, make your life easier. It's loud when you go shopping. It's so loud and it's really frustrating. So what Simon is painting a picture of here is, how do you cut through that noise and grab your customer?
Yeah. And on the carrots and sticks, he did say, and I said he's full of quotes, right? We said that.
Mm-hmm.
He says that manipulation only leads to transactions and not loyalty.
Yep.
And so,
absolutely.
if you, like you said, the noise that's there, so all you're doing is pulling someone to make a transaction, but it doesn't mean they're going to do it again.
Right.
So how much advertising dollar
do you lose?
Do you invest to have it? You're looking at return on investment only for dollar, right? But you're not looking ahead as far as how much will they return? How much did that advertising dollar really get you?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a loyalty or a following, all you did was one transaction. That's the only number statistically that you'll have in your arsenal.
Yeah, it's so true. Because, and we talked about this earlier, business owners need loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
You need your customers to be able to find you and want to come back to you and keep coming back.
Yeah.
So how do you cut through that noise is what Simon is painting the picture of, right? It's just, yes, we could run a promo and get somebody interested in Sage, but then there's several other consulting companies out
that
there
are doing the same thing.
Absolutely. And they're good at what they do too, credibility
excellent.
and experience. But what we need to find, and what you need to find as a business owner, is where is your customer? Your customer that is going to possibly even be willing to drive further to come to your brick and mortar or pay a little bit more because of how they feel connected to your brand specifically.
Yep.
And this is really the launch of his whole book, is start with why.
Yes, because if you align your business practices with your why, the customer will be attracted to you automatically. The right customer. The byproduct of it is you will be attracting the right customer for your business.
Yes.
As long as your business practices align with your why. But that's why knowing your why is so crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think he starts this so good because we business owners are always looking for ways to grow our business. But this is why, even for us with Sage Consultants, our boot camp, one of the very first things we start with is, yes, your mindset, but it's also knowing your why. Like the two have to go hand in hand.
Yep.
Before you can even.
You can't go and build a company, an entire brand, an entire movement if you are not aligned with every action, or every action is not aligned with your why.
With your why.
And, and the great thing about it is we're rereading this now because we've had Sage.
Yep.
We're going through the motions. Yep. We've got clients, but now we're like, okay, every move, every iteration that we're doing with Sage
has to come back to our why. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the questions all the way to the top.
Okay.
The first thing Kristen was asked is, have you lost your drive and focus? And do you feel like you're struggling to build a loyal customer base? I think we answer that here. If you have lost your drive and focus, what's your why? And if you don't know your why, that's your first drive. Yep. Go find it.
Go find it. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And if you are having a hard time building a loyal customer base, go find that why and apply all your actions towards it.
Yep. And the next few episodes, Simon builds on really how to do that.
Yeah.
So With that being said,
Yes. We'd like you to join us for episode 2. But
yes.
with that being said,
yeah, we are working on building this community and finding our people
yes.
through what our why is and hopefully what your why is. So when you like and subscribe, this is amazing. Hit that little reminder button so you know when the next episodes come out. But sharing
Yes.
Sharing helps businesses out so much. Share along, what did you hear today that somebody else needs to hear? And you can share that.
Yeah.
Share comments on how you're feeling and what you're thinking. Do you agree or disagree? Have you been successful in your business and you never had a why? I would challenge you on that. Let's talk.
Yeah. And if you know someone who could possibly struggle, like you said, with some of these issues, maybe you see them and they've lost their drive and focus and they're having a hard time growing their customer following. Hey, why don't you share this video with them?
Yeah.
It might help them.
Please. So, y'all, so glad that you joined us today and that you're on this journey with us. So, cheers, y'all. See you next episode.
See you on the next one, guys. Bye.